Imagine waking up one day and hearing that the world is about to end. Not in 100 years. Not in 10 years. But today, scientists warn that a massive nuclear disaster is coming. Toxic radiation will cover the entire planet, and anyone left outside will die within minutes. Panic spreads everywhere. Governments collapse. Cities fall into chaos. But while the world is panicking, something strange is happening behind the scenes. The richest people on Earth already knew this was coming. Months before the public announcement, secret invitations were sent to billionaires, CEOs, and powerful elites. The message was simple. A private underground shelter had been built, a hidden luxury bunker deep under the ocean where the richest people could survive while the rest of the world burned. No one knew who built it. No one knew how it worked. But every billionaire was told the same thing. If you want to survive, come now. Among those people was Max. 3 years ago, Max lost everything. One rainy night changed his life forever. A terrible accident took the life of the girl he loved the most. After that night, Max spent 3 years in prison, living with guilt and regret every single day. When he finally walked out of prison, the world was already preparing for the end. His father told him something that sounded impossible. The world was about to collapse, and they had a place where they could survive, a secret bunker built for the richest people on Earth. Max didn't believe it at first, but when he saw the convoy of black armored vehicles waiting for them, he realized this was real. Dozens of billionaires were already on their way. Black SUVs drove through empty highways as the sun slowly disappeared behind the ocean. Inside the cars, the atmosphere was silent. Everyone looked nervous. Everyone knew what they were leaving behind. Their homes, their businesses, their entire lives, and maybe the entire world. Before entering the bunker, security guards collected everyone's phones. No communication with the outside world was allowed anymore. Then, every person received a strange silver bracelet. They were told it was a health monitoring device, something that would track their vital signs and keep them safe inside the bunker. But Max noticed something strange. A small green light on the bracelet kept blinking, like it was alive. Soon the vehicles reached a massive steel gate hidden inside a mountain tunnel. The gate slowly opened, and the convoy disappeared underground. When Max stepped inside, he couldn't believe what he was seeing. The bunker didn't look like a survival shelter. It looked like a luxury underground city. Long metallic corridors, white marble floors, futuristic rooms, luxury bedrooms with perfect white bedsheets, and massive digital screens showing what was happening outside in the world. But what those screens showed terrified everyone. Entire cities were burning, buildings collapsing, explosions everywhere. The world outside looked completely destroyed. According to the bunker's leader, radiation levels were already deadly. Anyone who stepped outside would die instantly. The bunker was now their only chance to survive. Everyone believed it. Everyone except Max, because the more time he spent inside the bunker, the more something felt wrong. The guards were watching everyone too closely. Cameras were hidden in almost every corner. And that strange bracelet on his wrist kept blinking. Like someone was listening. Like someone was watching. And deep down, Max had a feeling. Maybe the world outside wasn't the real danger. Maybe the real danger was inside the bunker. Something about the bunker didn't feel right. The first few days passed quietly. The residents tried to convince themselves that they were safe, that the nightmare outside was real, and that this underground city was their only chance to survive. The bunker was luxurious, almost too perfect. Long metallic corridors stretched endlessly, the white marble floors shining under soft white LED lights. Every bedroom looked identical, with perfectly clean white bed sheets, dark grey metallic doors, and large digital screens constantly showing the destruction happening outside the world. But Max couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. He started noticing small details that no one else seemed to care about. The same guards walking the same routes every hour, cameras hidden in corners that looked like decoration, and that silver bracelet on everyone's wrist. The green light never stopped blinking. One evening, while walking through a quiet corridor, Max stopped suddenly. Aina almost bumped into him. He pointed toward the ceiling. A tiny black dot hidden inside the lighting panel. A camera. Anna looked around nervously. The entire corridor suddenly felt different, like they were inside a giant cage. Max leaned closer to her and spoke quietly. He said the bracelet wasn't just a health device. He was sure there was a microphone inside it. Someone was listening to every word they said. Anna didn't want to believe it at first. The idea sounded insane, but the more she thought about it, the more everything started to make sense. The guards always appeared whenever someone talked about leaving. The cameras were everywhere. Even their private rooms felt like they were being watched. From that moment, Max and Anna stopped talking openly. Instead, they started pretending. In front of everyone else, they acted like normal residents trying to survive the apocalypse. They ate in the dining hall, watched the disaster footage on the giant screens, and followed all the bunker rules. But secretly, they were observing everything. Max paid attention to the guards' schedules. Every hallway patrol repeated at the same time every day. Anna noticed that certain doors were never used by the residents, but were always accessed by the security team. Late one night, when most people were asleep, Max sat on the edge of his bed staring at the bracelet. The blinking green light reflected in his eyes. He carefully turned it around and looked at the inner side, and that's when he saw it. A tiny hole no bigger than a needle tip. A microphone. Max felt a chill run down his spine. They weren't guests in the bunker, they were prisoners. The next day, he found Anna in the lounge area, where the giant screens were playing the same disaster footage again. Burning cities, collapsing buildings, dark smoke covering the sky. Max watched carefully. Then he noticed something strange. The same explosion repeated twice in different videos. The same car appeared in two different destroyed streets. The clouds in the sky moved unnaturally fast. The videos were fake, AI generated. Max slowly explained everything to Anna without speaking directly. He used reflections in the glass screens and subtle gestures so the cameras wouldn't detect their conversation. Anna's heart started racing. If the videos were fake, then maybe the world outside wasn't destroyed at all. Which meant only one thing. Someone had trapped them here on purpose, and there was only one person who could have done it. Casey, the woman who controlled the bunker. The one who welcomed them when they arrived. The one who kept reminding them that the outside world was deadly. Max and Anna realized that if they wanted to survive, they needed proof. So that night they made their first real move. While the guards were busy in another wing of the bunker, Max quietly opened a maintenance panel he had discovered earlier. Behind it was a narrow metallic passage filled with pipes and cables running along the walls. Cold air flowed through the tunnel. This area clearly wasn't meant for the residents. Max and Anna moved carefully through the narrow space, trying not to make any noise. Every small sound echoed through the metal walls. After a few minutes, they reached a small observation window that looked into a room they had never seen before. The control room, Zia's. Inside the room were several computers, dozens of surveillance screens, and a group of technicians monitoring every corner of the bunker. But what Max saw next made his blood run cold. One of the screens showed a bank account being accessed. Another screen showed someone using a billionaire's identity to transfer money. Pals. Another showed social media accounts posting updates, pretending that the bunker residents were still living normal lives outside. They weren't just trapped, their entire identities were being used, their money, their companies, their lives, all being stolen while they sat underground believing the world had ended. Anna whispered something Max would never forget. This bunker was never meant to save them. It was built to steal everything from them. And the moment Casey finished taking all their money, they might never be allowed to leave. Max and Anna looked at each other with the same terrifying realization. They weren't hiding from the end of the world. They were trapped inside the most perfect scam ever created. And now that they knew the truth, their lives were in even greater danger than before. Max and Anna realized the truth. Everything inside the bunker suddenly felt different. The quiet corridors were no longer peaceful. The soft white lights no longer felt safe. Every camera, every guard, every blinking bracelet now felt like a trap closing around them. Max knew one thing for sure. Casey discovered that they had seen the control room. They would never leave this bunker alive. So they had to act fast. For the next 2 days, Max and Anna pretended nothing had changed. they continued living like the other residents, eating in the dining hall, walking through the long metallic corridors, and watching the same fake disaster footage on the giant screens. But secretly, they were preparing their escape. Max carefully studied the bunker's layouts. Every hallway, every door, every guard patrol. Anna kept the residents distracted, talking to them and gathering information without raising suspicion. They discovered something important. The bunker had an emergency exit, a hidden tunnel designed only for the founders of the bunker, in case something went wrong. But that tunnel was heavily secured and connected to the lower maintenance level, the same place where they had seen the control room. Reaching it would be extremely dangerous, but it was their only chance. Late one night, when most of the bunker was asleep, Max and Anna quietly left their room. The corridor was silent, except for the distant sound of ventilation systems humming through the walls. They moved carefully, timing their steps between the guard patrols Max had memorized. When they reached the maintenance panel, Max opened it quickly, and they slipped inside the narrow metal tunnel again. Cold air rushed through the pipes as they crawled forward through the dim passage. But this time, something was different. Casey had already noticed unusual activity on the surveillance system. Back in the control room, alarms began flashing silently on the screens. One of the technicians pointed at a camera feed showing the open maintenance panel. Casey's expression changed instantly. She knew someone had discovered the truth. Security teams were immediately sent to search the bunker. Meanwhile, Max and Anna continued moving through the lower-level tunnel, unaware that the entire security team was now looking for them. After several minutes, they reached a large steel door at the end of the passage. This was it, the emergency exit. Max quickly began working on the control panel beside the door. His hands moved fast but carefully as he tried to override the locking system. Anna looked back nervously, her heart racing as the sound of boots grew louder. Finally, the panel lights turned green. The door unlocked with a heavy metallic click. Max pulled the handle and slowly pushed the door open. For a moment, both of them froze. A powerful beam of sunlight burst through the opening, flooding the dark tunnel with bright, natural light. Max stepped outside first. Fresh air filled his lungs as he looked around in complete disbelief. The sky was clear and blue. Birds were flying above the trees. The city in the distance looked completely normal. There were no explosions, no radiation, no destroyed buildings. The world was perfectly fine. Anna stepped out behind him, tears forming in her eyes as she realized the truth. Everything they had been told was a lie. The apocalypse never happened. Casey had created the bunker to trap the richest people in the world while her team used AI clones, fake videos, and stolen identities to transfer billions of dollars from their accounts. The bunker wasn't a shelter. It was a prison built for the biggest scam in history. Suddenly, angry voices echoed from inside the tunnel. The guards had reached the exit, but it was too late. Max grabbed Anna's hand and they ran toward the open world outside. The sunlight grew brighter with every step as they left the underground bunker behind them. For the first time in days, they felt free. Behind them, hidden beneath the ground, the luxury bunker remained silent. A perfect prison, built on lies.